offers an update on the college football game, saying it is making incredible progress.
So Andrew Wilson, CEO of Electronic Arts, has revealed during the publisher's quarterly earnings call overnight that its upcoming college football game is making quote incredible progress. Although there's no sign of a release date yet, when asked for an update on the game, Wilson revealed that EA has quote many, if not most, of the schools licensed, and that the core gameplay is quote really coming together. And the team's doing an incredible job building out what will be the future of college football. Gameplay is really coming together and really capturing all the action of pageantry and the difference in college football versus the NFL. I feel really confident in what the team's doing. We're working through the license situation broadly. As of now, we've got many, if not most, of the schools licensed as part of our licensing program. We'll continue to work with the various governing bodies of the sport in the country and some key third-party partners we have around how and when to include college athletes themselves into the game, and we'll work very closely with them. But I'm confident that this will be an incredible reemergence of what college football of the college football experience, that it will capture all the action and pageantry driven by the schools and all that goes on with the schools in the context of this game. And I do believe that we'll find a place where we can work in lockstep with the athletes for inclusion in the game as well. So I'm just ready. Like, obviously, I know it's going to be next year, presumably, before we
Mhm.
get our hands on the college football game. But I
Yep.
like that they're giving an update because I know they've been piecemealing it and they're doing it right. Because a lot of developers, like we see with Skull and Bones, no, sorry, Murdoch, that just like keep just putting out trailers, trying to get us to believe. Where a lot of other developers have taken the more soft approaches, like, hey, we're going to tell you when we have something to say. And even if we don't have something to say, we're going to give you encouraging words that's like, hey, we haven't forgot about it. It's still
Yeah.
working, but this is where we're at right now. Like, we're just being transparent with you so we don't overpromise. And, that way we don't get you guys' hopes too high.
Yeah. And with this, it's telling me, hey, the gameplay's there, but we are really focusing on what matters with the NCAA college football game, and that
Right.
is the schools, the
Yes.
licensings for the schools, and the
Hmm.
feel for those places. Because I can
Yeah.
tell you from our experience in college, both of us were in the marching band at Troy
Yep.
University. The game day experience is different at each stadium, is different
Yes.
at each place. We've been to LSU, Florida,
Hmm.
South
South
Carolina,
Carolina.
several different other places, and it is very different depending on where you go. Like Troy,
Yeah.
they've got their whole, like, there's a parade and all of this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and then they have the bowl and the beginning of the pregame and all of this. There are a
Yep.
lot of things that are for that. And then Florida has the Gator Walk. It has different things. It has all of these
Yep.
different experiences. The 2 bits thing, and then LSU, they're whipping whiskey bottles into the band because they're getting beat at homecoming by a little
Right.
school,
Right.
and
Right.
all of
Right.
these things. Maybe that's literally real life because that's what happened to us. But I like that
Right.
they're going to that extent. And, you know, I'm hoping that they get every school and, they will play
Yes.
ball. This is going to be free money to these schools. All right.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know what I mean? But the interesting part, and I want your thoughts on this, Derek. Now that
Hmm.
college athletes can make money and
Off their likeness.
off their likeness and that sort of deal,
Hmm.
I think that is going to be a hinge. This is going to be something that is potentially that could make or break this, because I don't think that they're going to get every likeness for these players. I think they're going to get the bigger names, the big
Yeah.
quarterbacks, the big running backs from the the top schools, and that is
Right.
going to be it. And they might even go with as far as like getting some of the coaches their likenesses and
Yeah.
paying for that. That's going to be really about it. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's going to be a slippery slope for sure. Like, obviously, do I think they can get every college? Maybe not. There might be a few that just can't, like, especially the ones that are like terrible every year that just can't afford to, fork over the licensing agreements and, maybe. And now again, transparency, because, these athletes, they can get sponsorships too and get and do ads, and all these kind of deals. So they've got other sources of revenue Because I mean, the Madden, for the NFL, like they don't get much royalties from the Madden games. I can tell you that. So
Yeah.
as long as they're transparent up front with the players and be like, "Hey, look, you're the second string offensive lineman for Middle Tennessee. We can't offer you the same as like the starting quarterback to Alabama."
Yeah.
And some of these players are transparent. Obviously they're aware. They just want some extra money to get food for the week because their scholarships can't cover everything.
Yeah.
Some of these players are realistic. Now it's going to be the ones that are like the starters or like the most talked about in the preseason because preseason NFL starts tonight. But this is the month that college football's here. You're starting to see the hype videos,
Hmm.
come out. So this is a perfect time for them to bring, talk about this. But again, most players know, like a lot of players are self-aware. If you're the walk on, like the 110th player that's just happy to be on the team,
Yeah.
that you understand that any money you get is going to be a blessing versus like the starter who's been a star for 3 years and is to talk about for like a lot of preseason awards and whatnot. Now that's going to be the ones they're going to run into a problem with. I feel like, especially at the smaller schools, so it's like, yeah, you're good, but you're not the star quarterback of Clemson or Ohio State or insert big name school
Yeah.
here type deal.
Yeah. And I think this might even go into where it might even blanket under the school. It's like, okay, they approach Alabama. Let's say they're
Yeah,
like, okay, we're going to cut you a check for X amount. We want to guarantee the likeness of these, people or
yeah,
whatever. And that's just under that. And then the players get a percentage. I
yeah.
don't know how the deal is going to work out. It is going to be very interesting. You know, it'll probably be a year or two before we know how these deals kind of shook out and everything. But
Right.
it is very, because you think about NBA 2K, you think about, Madden and all of that. It's
Yeah.
like it's like these people have likenesses and they have rights and all of this kind of stuff. But
Right.
essentially, they have a contract with their, team that
Right.
they have rights for their likeness for advertisement and all this kind of stuff. So I think some of that is going to fall into that because now that these students do get more royalties and all of that, I think is going to
Mhm.
bring a different thing to it. But they're not going to pay the star quarterback at Alabama more than they're going to pay an NFL star quarterback.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
no, they'd be lucky if they even get,
yeah, yeah,
half of that
yeah.
or
So
even a quarter of that.
yeah, but I'm excited for this game. I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward to jumping back in and creating my dynasty. That was always my
Yeah.
favorite thing. Was literally like picking the worst teams and then just making them a powerhouse, just
Right.
recruiting like crazy. But like I remember playing as Hawaii when they were like the Rainbow Warriors back in the
I
day
remember that
and
story, yeah.
just murdering
Mhm.
everybody because I would go in and I'd create this like crazy star and like half
Yeah.
the time there was either Darth Vader or Boba Fett. Those were the names for my quarterbacks, and there were just these monsters that could run and just like had cannons for arms. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to this. 2024 probably when we will see this, but as this shakes out more, we have been getting more information as it's gone along. Like
Mhm.
every like 3 or 4 months, we get like a new story out of this and everything. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. Y'all let us know. What do y'all think? Are y'all ready for some? Are you ready for some football?
A Monday night party.
Boba Fett, the quarterback. Exactly. I'm telling y'all little secrets here. I'm telling y'all little
Right.
secrets. I had Django Fett for a while. Then I had Boba, and then I had Darth Vader.
Mhm.
It's
You were
not.
rocking.
I was rocking, man. I was rocking.